Hey, it's me, the spirit of spring. If you want to make sure that I leave like a lamb this year and I have a nice ending to the season, what could you do? Well, I think you could listen to an episode of this podcast. Before we continue my first ever journey through the Harry Potter series, just a few quick announcements. First, we have a live streamed live show coming up very soon, and you can consume it wherever the internet is sold. So if you have the internet, that means you're listening to this podcast. So if you have the internet, you can tune into our live stream. It is March 10th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That is the day that daylight savings time begins. So make sure you factor that in if you're not in America or not in a place that does daylight savings. So take that into account. But we're doing a live stream of the live show that we're doing March 10th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It is half Potterless, half the Noose Olympian, which is my Percy Jackson podcast. For the Noose Olympian, we are beginning the coverage of Heroes of Olympus. So we'll be doing the first two chapters. And then for the Potterless portion, we're going to take a bunch of Harry Potter pets and put them competition style through the format of Big Brother. The guest for this show will be Michael Hollis, who has been on TNO, and he did some live shows with me on the road for TNO last year, and this will be his Potterless debut, I believe. But he's a good friend of mine, very knowledgeable about both series, and I'm excited to have him as a guest. If you want to get tickets, you can go to potterlesspodcast.com/live, and if you're in the Charlotte area, you can still get tickets to the Charlotte show if you want to see it in person, and that is also available at potterlesspodcast.com/live. I'll also be in Raleigh on March 9th, but that show is sold out. Thank you, Raleigh, for getting tickets, but unfortunately, we have sold out. But we have the live show up. It is very exciting, and the live stream also comes with a 7-day replay. So if that day and time doesn't work out for you, that is okay. You can either watch it later or watch it again or watch part of it and then pick it up later. There's a live chat that comes with it too, so you can interact with the other folks who are watching. It's going to be a fun time, and I hope you come through. It should be a really exciting live show, and I'm excited to do it for the packed crowd in Charlotte and the packed crowd watching the stream up in the live chat. So that is what's going on in the world of Potterless. I will hopefully be putting out more episodes soon, but let's talk about the episode that you're about to hear. This is from the live show that Kelly and I did in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 2022. This is the Potterless portion of a half and half show. So this was the second act of the show where we did a Wizard on Survivor. It's one of the earlier Wizard on Survivor formats that we've done. And I think that since this show, we've kind of expanded the format a little bit in terms of getting the crowd interacting with us more for making the decisions. This one, because Kelly is a Survivor expert, I was deferring to her a lot to help us make the final calls. But I think this is a really fun one to listen to because this is Kelly and I kind of starting to figure out this format that I have used at many live shows since. So I think you will enjoy this episode still. We've built upon the last Survivor, which I posted to the feed recently with Eric Schneider. And this one is, us starting to figure out the format, and it's fun. And especially if you like Survivor, Kelly gets very much in the weeds of the game. So that's really fun. But if you don't understand Survivor, that's okay. It's still a really fun time. And if you enjoy this episode and you don't just want to listen to it, you want to see it, you can get the video replay of this live show. If you go to the merch store for the Noose Olympian, my Percy Jackson podcast, go to thenooseolympian.com/merch. And when you go to the merch store, you can scroll down and get the Noose Olympian and Potterless Live in Philly, August 31st, 2022 live show. And you can see the visuals from this show in addition to just listening from the audio. So if you really want to feel like you're there, you can get that video replay, and it's over on the TNO merch store. But without further ado, let's get into this episode where I am joined by Kelly Schubert, live in Philly, to do Wizard on Survivor Silver Linings Edition. Hey, what's good, everybody? As you'll have noted, Kelly did a full costume change. I did a partial costume change.
I was told full costume change. I did not realize you were just changing your shirt. I had different shoes. I had different hair. I went full out.
I also changed my socks. So, how dare you? Very important things. Okay, well, hopefully everybody had a wonderful intermission. We are here now for the Potterless portion of the show. All right. So yeah, we're going to do a fun get a little loose, do a little more improv type thing for a little bit, end the show with Q&A. It's going to be a blast. Now, Kelly is one of the biggest Survivor nuts that I know. She loves to watch the show a whole heck of a lot. You've recently just marathoned through like 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, another couple seasons.
In rapid succession.
Yep.
When I do the thing where I don't pay attention for the first couple of episodes, and then by episode 6, I'm watching the rest of the season with her. So I get to skip the more boring episodes, and then, once the unimportant people are gone, I'm locked in. It's a great balance. I love it. She catches me up on things I miss. Lovely. Now, we're going to be doing another Wizard on Survivor. It's going to be a little more condensed since we only have half of a show to do this here. So in this world of Survivor, we are going to be taking it up from post-merge. So if anyone has watched Survivor, usually you have 2 or 3 tribes, and then eventually when you get like 10 or 12 people left, sometimes a little less, they'll merge all the tribes together, and then instead of doing head-to-head stuff for the immunity challenges, it's just all solo stuff. So all these challenges here that I've got laid out, which Kelly does not know what they are, gonna see who would come out with the immunity challenges, then talk about who we think would maybe try to vote each other out, and ultimately we'll have a winner. Now, we always have some sort of theme when we do these Survivor shows. We've done like a heroes versus villain kind of thing, because Survivor, the TV show, does this. They do like blood versus water, where it's like family members. I've heard that the first blood versus water is actually good, and the second one is bad.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I haven't seen either one, because I heard...
But sometimes they'll have gimmick seasons. They'll have like, oh, it's all the winners coming back, whatever. So what we're doing for this Wizard on Survivor is Wizard on Survivor Silver Linings Edition. And that is my polite way of saying the B teams. Basically, it's all of the people when I've looked at different groups, people who were cool, but not necessarily like the head people in charge. So representing like the main character arc are cool people, but not necessarily in charge are Neville Longbottom and Luna Lovegood. From the bad side of things, from like the Draco cohort of it all, we've got Blaze Zabini and Pansy Parkinson. From the evil Death Eater section of it all, we've got Peter Pettigrew and Fenrir Greyback. From the working for the, I like the murmurs. From the Ministry of Magic section of it all, we've got Kingsley Shacklebolt and Arthur Weasley. And then for teachers at Hogwarts, we've got Professor Flitwick and Madam Hooch. So those are the 10 folks that we have. I tried to pull from very different areas so that it wouldn't be too lopsided in terms of, oh, all these people will group together, all these people will group together. So what we're gonna do is gonna turn to you in the audience to help us determine which of these 7 random challenges we will go through, because we'll end with a final 3. So can I just hear a number between 1 through 7? 4, thank you very much. So we're doing challenge 4. Reminder, we've got Neville, Luna, Zabini, Pansy, Pettigrew, Greyback, Kingsley, Arthur Weasley, Flitwick, and Hooch. All there.
Okay.
Now, challenge number 4 is your classic sort of physical / mental combo challenge in Survivor. Usually in Survivor, this involves you doing some sort of manual labor to acquire a key that then unlocks a box that gives you puzzle pieces, and after you swim across water, you can put the puzzle together.
Classic.
Your classic Survivor challenge, which I would just love to be in the, I guess, the writer's room for that, where someone's like, what if they were, I don't know, on a barge and they got to jump up? So
I want to be on the crew for that, because apparently what they do is they build the full challenges out, and then they have the crew compete in the challenges to see if they're too hard or too easy. And then also to film them, because right before they show a challenge of the actual people doing it, they show you how it's supposed to work with a crew member doing it. And that's what I want to be. I want to be one of those people.
I want to be on the crew. I want to be just the person that they do in the film portion when it's one of the like endurance challenges where you have to like hold on to something for a long amount of time, or you have to, not fall off of something. They always show what it looks like when someone fails. And they always just fall, because like usually these things are like, you're trying to hold something and then you lose so much that you drop it. But because they're just filming it, like the people look perfectly fine, and then they either like let go or just like fall off of something. And I want to be that guy where it's just like you're standing on this and you're like, oh, Jeff Probst. Like I want to be that. Anyway, the one that I've designed here that's very on brand Harry Potter wise is that you're on brooms. We should pick a location. We haven't picked a place. I usually do it based on like the wizarding schools, which are all over the place and have really bad names, because J.K. Rowling usually just did wizard school in whatever language it was. Like the Brazilian one is Castelo Bruxo, which is literally Portuguese for magic school. Famously, Hogwarts is not called magic school. So Stupid. God, why did we think she was good? What are all of the different schools? Durmstrang. Mahutakoro. I think I've done one there before. Oh, let's do Wagadu. This is the one in Africa. We won't go into how bad J.K. Rowling is about writing Africa, because she's usually like, Africa's just a country, right? So this is Wagadu version of Survivor. So they're in the African wilderness. I don't know I think it's supposed to be in like in Uganda, but I'm not positive because I've already closed out the HP wiki page because we need to get moving. Now, in this challenge, they have to fly on brooms to grab puzzle pieces, which are like in bags on Quidditch rings.
Classic.
So they fly, grab the bags, and then they have to return to a different area where they are assembling a puzzle. What does the puzzle put together? Well, it's Quidditch themed. It's a big picture of Ludo Bagman. From all of the folks here, who do you think would be good at this? Initially, I feel like the strongest flyers would be Madam Hooch. I feel like Kingsley Shacklebolt probably knows his way around a broom. Flitwick, I think, would be good at the puzzle portion. Arthur Weasley as well, because he'd be like, Muggles do these things called puzzles.
It doesn't always matter who is the fastest at the physical part of
Very
these.
true, very true.
Like, usually it varies a lot in the physical portion of these, but in the overall, like, time of the challenge, that's just a small percentage. And you can be the last one to the puzzle and then still win at the puzzle because they take a long time.
That's very true.
So my thought is, although you may have an advantage in the flying, even if you're the last one, you're not out of it.
Okay, so maybe Hooch does well in the flying, but she struggles a bit in the puzzle. So maybe we're looking for someone who could kind of check both boxes.
A little bit of both, right?
I feel like Kingsley could check both boxes. I feel like Zabini could check both boxes. I don't know if he's confirmed on the Quidditch team, but he feels like he's on the Slytherin Quidditch team.
I don't remember.
I don't either. I've only read the books once.
I've read them so many times and I don't remember. My head's just all full of Percy Jackson now. That's all that I read now. And that's it.
I think either Zabini, Kingsley, Hooch. From those three, who do you think would win at this challenge, and who wins immunity?
Hooch.
Hooch. Okay. Even maybe she like has the lead. It feels like it's getting really close with the comeback, but then she's able to hold it off and complete the puzzle before Kingsley can make a stunning comeback.
It's not to say that the flying part doesn't matter, because sometimes you win by seconds. So.
All right.
Well done.
So Hooch has immunity. She cannot be voted off. With our roster here, they have to pick someone to be voted off of the island. What route do you think they would go this early in the post-merge stage? Are they immediately trying to get rid of people that they think are risks in terms of challenge beast potential? Do you think that they're going to get rid of people that they think are more cunning?
I'm laughing because immediately they're getting rid of Fenrir. Because as soon as he gets hungry, he's gonna eat somebody.
Okay.
As soon as you mention him on the cast, I'm like, oh, he's gone. He's probably already eaten like 2 of his tribe mates.
Yep.
Like,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure any logical person is like not playing with that.
I think that's good. I think that makes sense. As you'll see sometimes in Survivor, you have the thing where just like everybody hates one person, and then once they get the opportunity to vote them off, they just do it and they don't even worry about it. And then sometimes Survivor does the thing where you'll have 2 tribal councils in one episode because it's so boring. There was no deliberation. Everyone's like, yeah, we're getting rid of Fenrir Greyback. He's a cannibal. We're voting him off.
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense.
He's a cannibal, and this is a game where you're supposed to get really hungry. So
Right. Yeah. No. Good point. Okay. So he is gone. Easy peasy. Now, can I get another number between 1 and 7 that is not 4? 2. Thank you very much. Okay. So this next challenge is one of the endurance challenges, but one of the ones where you have to like hold something for a long time and the last one remaining wins. So what I've come up with here is that they have to hold a really heavy dragon egg. And they have this thing sometimes in Survivor where they have to like, things will change after a certain increment of time. So I'm imagining like you have to hold it like down and then slowly but surely you have to like raise it like this, ultimately where you have it like exactly 90 degrees out and it's like really strenuous to hold.
usually when they do it that way, it's like tied to something where if you like drop the angle, then like some jar smashes somewhere, and then that's how they know that you're doing it.
Yeah,
correct.
maybe there's like a rope at the top of it or something and it sets off a pulley system and breaks a thing.
Pulley system that raises a flag and breaks a clay pot full of rice that goes everywhere.
I want to be on the team that designs those things. It's like, all right, you design the challenge. I'll design the mechanism that breaks a clay pot. Hire the, I mean, look, I think gender reveal baby things are very silly and stupid. We should just instead make fun gadgets and gizmos like they do on Survivor to break things where smoke comes out. Now, In this challenge, we've got Neville, Luna, Zabini, Pansy Parkinson, Peter Pettigrew, Kingsley Shacklebolt, Arthur Weasley, Flitwick, and Hooch. Who do we think has the endurance to hold on for all of this?
Who's on the bottom right now? So who needs it the most? Because endurance challenges are mental.
Pettigrew might be on the bottom just because the only other Death Eater in the mix was Greyback, and he's gone. I also feel like Pettigrew, in terms of an endurance challenge, like he's been through a lot. He had to live as a rat.
He was a rat.
He had to method act as a rat for decades. Decades, pretending to be a Weasley. He hates the Weasleys.
But is he also too like jittery to hold something still then for that long as a rat?
Yeah, but I guess in this particular one, it's not one of the balancing ones, so I don't think I don't think jitters matter. Like he can be really wobbly. I feel like if he's got enough determination to be a rat for so long, literally and figuratively, and then also to cut off his own hand during the books, like I feel like this guy has ultimate dedication, and he really does need it. I think Pettigrew is the clear favorite in this situation.
I also think that actually Pettigrew might be doing all right around camp. Like he might just every now and then turn into a rat and then go like find food.
Oh, so he's a big asset.
I would imagine that he's like actually doing all right as far as like eating food. And also I think that the part I would have the most trouble with on Survivor is at night when they show the footage of all the rats coming into their like shelters and stuff. And I think he'd be completely unfazed by all of that.
That's true.
I agree with you that I think that if he wants it the most, if he feels that he's on the bottom, give him the win.
So Pettigrew wins immunity in this challenge. Someone's got to get voted off. It can't be Pettigrew, but it could be Neville, Luna, Zabini, Pansy, Kingsley, Arthur, Flitwick, or Hooch. At this point in the game, they've gotten rid of the clear, person who's killing the vibes or the humans on the tribe. Do you think there's a person at this point? Are they going to try to go for someone that they fear is good at challenges? Are they going to try to get someone out that they fear is more cunning? What kind of angle happens at this stage in the game?
I think at this point, alliances are probably starting to form.
Yeah.
And when an alliance is new, like at this point, we're at 9 people, right? So the most you're hoping for is 5 people in your alliance right now.
Yeah.
And then you want to get clearly ahead. So where are the alliance lines forming? One of the other side is going home. Even if you perceive your own alliance as threats, it's not time to take them out yet because there'll be time for that later. Right now, you need the clear majority.
Sure. If you're going by majority in that case, there is a bit of a split between like kind of good and evil because you could go with like the professors and the ministry people and the Hogwarts kids, and that would give them the majority. But Pettigrew does have the immunity, so I don't know if that gives him any sort of sway.
Doesn't give him sway, but just gives him protection.
Right. Okay. Then I could see maybe people think Zabini, like he's young, he's athletic. He could be a threat that they might want to not have win challenges. On the flip side, I feel like the other people, Kingsley feels like a big threat, but I don't know if there's enough votes to get him off.
Oh, if I'm sitting there, I'm thinking I want to go with Kingsley to the last 6, and then he's gone.
You want to hold him on a little bit
I
longer?
want to hold him on a little bit longer
Okay.
my alliance.
So maybe we've got some things where like the kids team up. They fear Zabini more than Pansy. They're worried about Pettigrew, but he has immunity, so they can't get him. So maybe they take the time to try to reduce the numbers. Zabini goes home. They don't have the numbers to.
I think he's also more of a strategic threat. You don't want him kind of, infiltrating your head game.
Okay. So the powers that be work to get Blaze Zabini out of there, but it's okay, Blaze. One day you'll be rewritten as the only Slytherin that didn't leave. That's my headcanon for Zabini. He's the only guy that didn't ditch at the end. All right. Now, can I get a number between 1 and 4 that is not, between 1 and 7 that is not 2 or 4? All right, 7 I heard right there. All right, so 7. Okay. Now, this is a special one. This is the spicier one. It's usually a challenge that is a reward challenge, but we're gonna kind of combine it into an immunity challenge. We're doing the Survivor auction.
Survivor
auction is always a classic one. Usually when there's like about this many people left, they usually do an auction where they give everybody like 500 American US dollars in an envelope, and then they have an auction where part of it, they usually start off with just like some very simple, like it's a platter and there's food on it and you can get food. They usually precede this episode with everyone complaining about how hungry they are. And then Jeff Probst is like, sup guys. So I feel like that's probably happening at this point. But yeah, usually you start with just people ordering up different food, and some people who aren't like as dedicated to the game spend their money on the food. The folks who are more dedicated towards the game, or maybe people who are more scared that they're going to get voted off, they hold their money because at the end there's usually two things that happen. One will give a clue for a hidden immunity idol, and then one will let you like give a big advantage for the challenge immunity. So what I think for this one we'll do is we'll first kind of determine who's in for the intense portion of it versus who's going to just get food. Like Ron's not here, but Ron would spend $500 on the first food thing that shows up. But I think from this, let's pick one person to just like get the advantage that has them win the subsequent immunity, and then
Who's holding out?
And then one person gets the hidden immunity, which will like come into play. Who do we think goes for? I feel like. Who do we think would go for food right away? I feel like Arthur Weasley might be enamored by food.
I think so. I think he's been around Molly's cooking for a long time, and he's really, like Ron, not equipped for going hungry.
Right. Yeah. I think Luna also, they do a thing where after they bring out the food, they usually bring things covered with a lid.
Yeah.
And they either have like really good food underneath, or it'll be like pig's brain or something. I feel like Luna would go for the thing in the lid, and she would get the gross thing and be very excited about it. Like she'd be so stoked to eat pig's brain or whatever.
And they also do the thing where sometimes you'll buy something and they say you can either have this chocolate cake that you just bought for $300, or we will give you a full bag of rice and a full bag of beans for back at camp. And the person always picks the rice and beans for back at camp because it wins you favor and it wins you and your team food for the upcoming days.
Okay, yeah, but what if Pansy
But
Parkinson
that's what I was
did
going to say.
that?
If it's Pansy, she's like, no, this is my chocolate cake.
That could be if Pansy or Pettigrew got it, I could see them not going for the group because they think they're such in the minority. Who cares?
I would imagine that if Pettigrew got it, he would say, no, I know that nobody likes me, and I'm gathering my food as a rat anyway, so I don't need it.
I like one of the two of them doing those sorts of things.
And everybody hates them. It never happens.
Who do we think is in for the long haul strategic-wise? I feel like maybe Neville. Maybe Neville. Because I feel like Neville would be so good at foraging food in the wilderness that he wouldn't be very hungry. He'd be like, oh, I can eat all these leaves and stuff. Or he's like in the ocean getting all I think he's fine. So I feel like he might be able to hold out for a thing. I also feel like Flitwick feels very strategic and like he would want to hold out. If he's the master of charms, that feels very brainy. He's Ravenclaw, head of house. He feels like he would also save it for the strategic purpose of the advantage later in the game.
That's true. He's also older though, and he may need the food more than the younger spry guys who can kind of like go a little hungrier.
So in that case, do you think Kingsley maybe holds off?
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. So between Kingsley and Neville are two strategy heads here. Do we just want to flip a coin of who gets?
Yeah, flip a coin.
I'm just going to Google coin flip. All right, heads, the hidden immunity goes to Neville.
Okay.
Tails, the hidden immunity goes to Kingsley. Oh, wow, there's like an animation and everything. It's heads. So the hidden immunity goes to Neville. So Neville, I'm going to put
Just
a little
the clue
H.
for the hidden immunity idol.
Yeah, but I
Doesn't
think
mean
he would find
finds
it. I think he would find it.
I think he'd probably find it.
I think he would find it because, again, Neville feels very well equipped for the wilderness. He knows all of the herbology stuff.
That's true.
And as we saw before in an episode that we recently watched, they had like a little picture and they were like, oh, it's near this plant. We dug it underground. He would be like, oh, yeah, and just get it in like 2 seconds. Be like, great, got it, done.
But also in the season I just watched, the guy who bought the clue had already found 2 idols without clues, so he was good at looking, he was good at finding things, got the clue, could not find it. Apparently dug until his hands were bloody and could not find it, and then went home that night. It was very sad.
It's a shame that we don't have any Hufflepuffs because they're such good finders. All right, so that means that Kingsley wins the immunity challenge that follows after. He gets the thing that like helps you for the next round. So
and he was already probably going to dominate anyway.
I mean, yeah, he's a strong asset. So Kingsley Shacklebolt has immunity. Neville has a hidden immunity, but remaining we have Neville, Luna, Pansy, Pettigrew, Kingsley, Arthur Weasley, Flitwick, and Hooch. I feel like we're at the point now, since the like evil people, if we are going to draw the line there, are so minimum that we're going to get to the situation where either a blind side or a more strategic, like let's get out a threat happens, because it's like we don't have to worry about, you know, the numbers are such in our favor.
Also, at this point, usually you're going to get an alliance within an alliance. The Boston Rob rules of Survivor. Have an alliance. Rule number 2, have an alliance within your alliance. And rule number 3, get rid of your alliance before they get rid of you. These are the Boston Rob rules, according to another player who thought that he was the greatest thing ever. So I would imagine that there's, within this alliance, the good people were forming an alliance. Maybe sometimes it forms based off of like age. People will like gravitate to people they're more similar to.
I think Neville and Luna, they always got along really well.
Right.
I think they could be a good little 2-person alliance.
Or to like strategic ideologies, like people who are thinking the same. That's kind of how you get your alliance within an alliance.
I could see a 3-person alliance of Neville, Luna, and Flitwick. Because you've got, and maybe if they try to like bring in someone with a little more brawn into it, like maybe Kingsley, but I think Neville, Luna, Flitwick is like a good, they're all sort of thinkers. Neville's very good with foraging and getting out there. Luna is, you know, she's knowledgeable of creatures and all of that, which just feels like a different skill set for other challenges. And then Flitwick's got, you know, he's very magically powerful. He's got more wisdom behind him, gives a little bit of diversity in terms of age to the group.
And I think that usually when you make like a final 3 pact, people make like their final 3 pact, and everybody makes a final 3 pact.
But then they break it all the time. They lie to each other. It doesn't matter.
But in their like off interviews on the ones that they actually mean, usually you link up with people that you think you have a chance against. So it's usually 3 people who are on even playing fields.
Right.
And that's why I don't think Kingsley's going to find an alliance, because everybody's going to see him as the golden boy at the end who will automatically win. Nobody wants to take him to the end.
Okay. So these 3 are teaming up. If they are trying to get someone out that they think is a threat, that would leave Hooch, that would leave Arthur, that would not leave Kingsley because they have immunity, and that would leave Pettigrew or Pansy. Do you think that they try to knock off maybe Hooch because she did well in the flying thing? They're worried about her winning immunity challenges?
I think at this point they're thinking, we want to get off Kingsley. We can't get off Kingsley.
Right.
And if it were me, I'd want to get off Pettigrew.
Really?
He's you know, scrappy, and he's spry, and he's like a kind of goat that people will take to the end, but then might have a case at the end.
Yeah.
And I would just want him gone because I don't like him.
Yeah, I mean, ruining the vibes as well. Okay, I think that works. I think that they're able to swing enough votes where Pettigrew is gone, and then we can get into the next challenge. So again, either a number that is between 1 and 7 that is not 2, 4, or 7. 5. Thank you very much. Okay, this one, short, sweet, to the point. They get to a point where Jeff Probst has to welcome them in, and it's definitely Jeff Probst hosting this because he's magic.
Nobody else can.
He hasn't aged in 40 whatever seasons of Survivor. The man is a wizard.
I skip around because there's like 45 seasons of Survivor, and I have like I
they do like 2 a year, so it's not like it's going for 45 years. Yeah.
I follow this list that like ranks them and like gives you a non-spoiler description about what each season is like. And so I skip around from watching like season number 2 to season number like 37 to like 20, and he looks the same in all of them.
in all of them.
He is the exact same. Like the quality of the videography changes, he's the same.
It's truly impressive. So, Jeff Probst is the host. He does his classic thing where he says, "Come on in, guys," which is what he always says to welcome people in. And that I'm going to perfect the cadence because he always says it in the same way. Come on in, guys.
A little too high with the guys.
But he doesn't.
I think you have to start lower with the,
Coming in, guys. Welcomes them in. And then what's just set up on the beach is just a very intense elevated platform. Just a long rectangular platform. And then on either end of the platform, because Survivor always has like big gimmicks and stuff, are big dunk tanks. And what they're doing is they're doing duels where they're trying to knock the other person backwards into the dunk tank. And if you get your opponent into the dunk tank, they are eliminated. Now, we do know that Flitwick was the dueling champion, so he feels like a very strong candidate here for the duels. But anyone else from Neville, Luna, Pansy, Arthur, Kingsley, and Hooch that you think would fare well in the dueling challenge here?
I think Kingsley's a good dueler, right?
I would think so, yeah.
I think that Neville has proved himself pretty well.
Right. The question is...
Or is that with just a sword?
Yeah, right. Is Neville good at dueling, or is he very good with a sword against a snake? Like, is he good in a very specific type of situation, or has he found his own? I'm not so sure.
It's a good question.
Yeah. But no, I think Kingsley would be good. We've seen him hold his own fighting-wise. Flitwick, obviously we know. I don't feel very strongly about Arthur, Hooch, or do we even see Pansy do a spell in the entire series? I don't know about them holding their own. I think it would come down to Kingsley or Flitwick. I think Flitwick would do it.
I think so too. I think he's the best dueler there.
So now Flitwick's got the immunity idol. Neville still has his hidden one. Do you think now they're going to try to get Kingsley? Does Kingsley fear that this is coming? And maybe he tries to bring some unlikely people into the mix? Because if we have this 3 of Neville, Luna, and Flitwick, that does leave a 4 of Pansy, Kingsley, Arthur, and Hooch. Do they kind of say, look, we're an unlikely gang of 4, but these 3 are all buddy-buddy. Let's knock one of them off.
I think that, wait, you said it was?
We have Neville Longbottom. We have Luna. We have Pansy, we have Kingsley, we have Arthur, we have Flitwick, and we have Hooch. Flitwick has immunity, Neville has a hidden immunity.
Yes. And we've got our alliance of
Neville, Luna, Flitwick, and then the other 4. I think the other 4 kind of band together to knock off one of those 3, which would make Luna the top choice if they knew Neville had the hidden, which they knew he got the clue because he won it in the auction.
Right, so they're pretty sure he has it.
Right.
So...
But do they do your favorite thing? Are they afraid that if they make it too obvious, Neville's going to give the hidden immunity idol to Luna because you can't give it to someone? Are they going to do the split the vote situation to flush the idol?
They can't split the vote here because they're 4. And so if they split the vote, it's 2-2 to that voting block of 3. So if they split the vote, then they lose no matter what.
Okay.
They may flush the idol, but they'll lose one of them. So, I mean, I think at the same time, you know, that group of 3 is also, they're being scrappy. They know there are only 3. They're trying to grab more people into their alliance. I think they're going for Arthur.
Ooh.
I think they're trying to grab him into the alliance. And so I think here that Arthur's the swing vote.
Okay.
About which side does he see himself going farther with?
Okay. I feel like Arthur would feel better with the other group, the not Neville Luna of it all, because Arthur would probably view himself as a better player than Pansy. He could maybe see himself as a better player than Hooch, and it would just kind of be him and Kingsley, and maybe he's thinking, if I can get Kingsley out of there, I'm the top dog of this other alliance, and then I'll be seen as the mastermind that kind of usurped the throne of the rejects of the B team Survivor.
I wasn't thinking of him as that great of a strategist, but yeah, maybe.
I mean, he has managed to keep a job at a very corrupt government organization.
That is true.
I feel like he is surrounded by conniving people all day, every day.
True.
He doesn't do it himself, but I think he knows how to get it done.
You know,
he interacts with Lucius Malfoy a lot.
I think what's happened here is the 3 tried to pull him in, tell him we want to get Kingsley off. Look, he almost won. Arthur flips to the other side, has said, you know, hey, Kingsley, they're trying to get you off. Let's get the other 2 with us.
Okay.
And let's form our own final 3.
So maybe Arthur does it secretly. They kind of blindside. They get Luna out of there because she doesn't have the idol.
Right. And then next episode, they'll be able to flush it if they need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big Luna fan in the front row. Just let out a big gasp that Luna's gone, but I think it works. I think it makes sense. So Luna is out. So now, can I get either the number 1, 3, or 6? 1 is the first one I heard. Thank you very much. I did hear all of the other options. So this is a very different Survivor one. This usually happens in the earlier rounds, but I still think it's very fun. There's various eating challenges in Survivor. Usually what happens in the eating challenges is they have speed rounds of eating gross things, and then it's whoever is the last to eat the gross thing has to, right? Isn't it usually like you do it quickly and then whoever's the slowest is eliminated and then they keep going?
If they have too many players, they'll do 2 seeds of 4, and then the 2 winners from each group go on to a final 4.
So what I'm thinking here, it's going to be a little different because they're all British, so all the food will be bad. Shout out to the British folks on the stream. But because they're all British, we want to switch it up a little bit. And on the pro, like, I got to hand it to the UK. Well, I don't want to hand it to the UK. I don't think you ever want to do that, especially for this situation. Got to hand it off to the people that they culturally... Indian food in England is good, and it's spicy. So I was thinking, instead of a gross food eating challenge, it's a spicy food eating challenge where things just get progressively and progressively spicier, and then it's less of a question of how fast you can eat or how much grossness can you withstand and who can handle the most heat. From, you know, maybe they eat a bunch of peppers that get like spicier and spicier, and you have to go like a certain time without drinking water or milk or whatever.
I was wondering where you were going with this because I was like, they normally eat live bugs.
Right? No.
Where are we going?
I wanna make it a little bit different. So instead, it's kind of like a hot
Spicy
pepper challenge. Yes.
I think it's harder to know who has a spice tolerance by looking at somebody
Look,
from the outside.
Arthur Weasley's not going to be good at spicy food. I think we can just know that off the bat. Neville, Pansy, Kingsley, Arthur, Flitwick, and Hooch. I think Pansy would be phenomenal at this challenge.
Okay.
She has like a heart of ice. I feel like I feel like she's always got like a stern look on her face. She's going to be totally unfazed.
Okay.
I feel like she's the clear winner here. Neville, I think, also would be very good. He's all like, I feel like he'd be so fascinated by, if it is peppers, for example, he'd be so fascinated just by like the biology of it all, the herbology of it all, that I think that he could be a top dog here. So I think my top 2 seeds here would be Neville and Pansy.
Do you want to flip a coin?
No.
Okay.
I want to choose one.
Choose one.
I feel like we haven't given enough love to Pansy. Let's let her have
Okay.
the win one. And I always think it is fun when there's like a clear person just to get rid of when they win immunity, and then it kind of throws a wrench into everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like this will throw a wrench, and let's throw some wrenches.
Okay. I was
Great.
going to say the wrench would be the other way, but yeah.
Well, I've thrown my wrench.
Throw your wrench.
I've thrown the Pansy wrench. She's got immunity.
Pansy wrench.
Neville, Kingsley, Arthur, Flitwick, Hooch, and then Pansy, who is safe.
So now's when you split the votes to flush the idol.
Neville's hidden immunity
Because
idol.
we've got 4v2, so you split 2 and 2.
Okay.
And then if it's a tie, where it's 2-2-2, and Neville doesn't play his idol, and Neville's one of the votes, everybody re-votes, and they'll probably vote for Neville.
Okay, so they're gonna flush it out to try to get rid of one of Neville or Flitwick.
That would be
Yes?
what I would do, yeah.
Okay, then
I'm just
look,
living out my Survivor life here.
This is my gift to you. They flush it out. Then it does successfully work.
Neville does play it. Because,
Neville does play it. Yes,
right.
he's
so
gonna play it.
They do the foursome.
Yeah.
There's 2 votes for Neville, 2 for Flitwick, and then those 2 vote for. I don't know,
They would probably.
Pansy Kingsley. They vote for Kingsley.
They vote for Kingsley
That's
to try
who
to
I
get him
would
out.
want yeah.
Yes. Okay. So it's all
Neville
tied.
plays his idol. So now.
You can only vote for those 3, but
no.
all those 3
So
can't vote again.
since Neville played his idol, the 2 votes for Neville don't count.
Right.
And therefore, there's 2 votes for Kingsley, 2 votes for Flitwick. And everybody except for Kingsley and Flitwick re-vote and can only vote for one of those 2.
Right.
And
They
then
vote for Flitwick.
The 3 of them vote for
All right.
Yeah.
So Flitwick is gone. All right. Getting closer and closer. Can I get either the number 3 or the number 6? 6. Everyone said 6. No one said 3. Okay, now, this is another classic Survivor thing. Usually, they'll have some sort of puzzle-based thing where you have to, like, do a repeated task. But in one of the seasons, it was, like, all knots. That season, they decided everybody's untying knots all the time.
All knots.
So-
It's like, how do you practice for that before you go on? Just
You get your
tie a
significant
bunch of
other to
knots.
tie a bunch of knots, and then your job at
Also-
home is to untie all the knots.
How do you make it, like imagine being on the crew of that and making it completely even. Every set of knots has to be exactly the same, so everybody's untying the same exact knots. Or like when they go through those rope mazes, somebody has to like make that maze exactly the same 6 times in a row.
They bring in the Boy Scouts of America. Now, this one, similar. They've had one that we watch. It was like a jungle gym type thing where you had to like go up a level, untie a knot, which would, let you get past to a next thing or open up a ladder or a slide or whatever. So it's that kind of thing. But at each step along the way, it's a different unlocking charm that you have to do. So like an Aloha Mora type of situation. So it's a big jungle gym puzzle type thing. So part physical, but mostly the magic of unlocking doors and doing the different spells. Neville, Pansy, Kingsley, Arthur, and Hooch. Who do we think would be the best at this? I think Arthur's pretty strong.
I was gonna say, I think that he'd be agile enough to get through the like maze and also good enough at the magic to get through.
Good enough for me. Arthur Weasley wins immunity, which is huge for him. And then now we've got Neville, Pansy, Kingsley, Arthur, and Hooch. A little bit of power situation for Arthur. Does he try to bring it in to get somebody out? Does he use this as an opportunity to get Kingsley out? Now that Kingsley is okay, he does.
That's what you do.
All right.
Now I know he's probably made a final 2 pact with Kingsley. This is where you either die the hero or live long
enough to see yourself become Harvey Dent.
Right. That's what always happens at the end of Survivor. Your favorite player ends up blindsiding your other favorite player.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's the point we're at now. And I think that he pulls it together. Everybody wants him out. He's the golden boy of the season.
All right. They get Kingsley out. He's gone, but don't worry. He'll win the Sprint branded fan favorite at the end of the reward show. So now we have our final challenge. Can anyone say the number 3? I heard 3. Thank you so much. So this final one is another endurance one, but this is one of the balance ones. You'll see this in Survivor sometimes where they have to like balance a ball on a stick or something and hold it steady so it doesn't fall off. But this one instead, plain and simple, take a wand, put it on your finger, and then you have to just balance it like this. So we have Neville, Pansy, Arthur, and Hooch. Who do you think would be the best at balancing? And this is the final immunity challenge before they get into the final 3.
Balance, I would say Hooch, right? Like flying?
It's all about flying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, good enough for me. All right. Hooch gets the immunity. She's got some power to try to think who she wants to bring because it's going to be a final 3. So out of Neville, Pansy, and Arthur, what do you think happens?
So at this point, you have to get into the jury's head. It's not who do you think is the best matchup for you.
Right.
It's who is the jury most likely to vote for, not Pansy. She's the goat that goes all the way
So
to
I
the
think
end.
they're going to definitely want to try to bring Pansy along.
Who wants to bring Pansy no matter what?
Yeah.
Then you've got Arthur and Neville. You want to think who has pissed off more people on the jury, who has more friends on the jury, who's played a better game. I don't know.
Arthur definitely pissed off Kingsley by blindsiding him.
Yes, but he's also made like big moves.
Yeah.
He was the one who flipped from the original 3.
But is it set in stone that Hooch necessarily has the powers? Because there's 4 total votes. Is there something Arthur could do to try to make sure he gets in? Like, does he work with Pansy? Does Arthur fear Neville the most out of Pansy and him? So he's like, look, let's get, here's what could happen. Arthur and Pansy are like, Arthur goes to Pansy, says, look, if we get Neville out of there, you're coming to the final 3. They both vote for Neville. Neville kind of gets sense of this happening, goes to Hooch, says, let's both vote for Arthur. It's a tie vote, and then they have to do the tiebreaker thing, right? Where they have to like build a fire.
I never understand why this doesn't happen. In the final 4, the person who has the immunity makes the call. And I never understand why they don't force a 2v2 fire challenge.
I think
it
they
does
should
not
do the
happen
2v2
very
fire
often.
challenge. It's fun.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Throw your wrench in.
So in this case, we would have a 2v2 fire challenge where you just literally have like a little like thing and flint and you just got to like make a fire, right? Or do
No
you think...
wands?
No, no wands. This is Wizard on Survivor. I think they rush to do it. So it would be between Arthur and Neville. Arthur loves Muggle stuff.
I was going to say, I think
He's
Arthur
so good at this.
has definitely tried
right.
this before.
So in that case, Neville is gone. So our final 3 is Pansy, Hooch, and Arthur Weasley. And then we've got our jury, which consists of everybody else. So our jury, as I hit undo a lot to get all the names I've deleted, our jury, we've got Neville, Luna, Zabini, Pansy, Pettigrew, Fenrir Greyback. And then Kingsley, Arthur's in it, Pansy's in it, sorry, I misspoke. Flitwick's in the jury, and then Hooch is in it. So all the different votes are in there.
Did you say Pansy was on the jury?
No, she's not on the jury.
Okay.
So the final 3 is Pansy, it is Arthur, and it is Hooch. I feel like Arthur's played the best game.
Yes.
But does he have the votes to do it?
I think that the jury does not address Pansy at all. They know she's not.
She just, they do the thing where they ask people questions to try to determine their vote. She just gets ignored.
She just gets ignored the whole time.
Great, yeah.
But I do think that Fenrir votes for her.
Okay,
just
yeah.
out of spite for everybody.
Great. 1 vote from Fenrir. Good for you, Pansy. You've done it. You're on the board. Between Arthur and Hooch, I know he's pissed off Kingsley, so maybe Kingsley's voting for Hooch. But as far as the other people, like, I think Arthur might have the game here.
I think that I would vote for Arthur. He played the best game. He saw when he needed to switch alliances, and he switched. And then he saw when he needed to take out his biggest threat and did it, even though it was his bro, you know?
Okay.
So
Well,
that's who I would vote for.
the resident Survivor expert has it, according to the grand jury of Kelly's brain, which I trust. I think it's a very good brain. Arthur Weasley is the winner of Wizard on Survivor Silver Linings Edition. Very fun, very fun. We've got some time here, so let's do 10 minutes of Q&A and
Wonderful.
then get on out of here.
Well, hold on there, Bass Mike. Before we can get into Q&A, we got to take a little bit of a break, and that break is called Wingardium Leviosa. Hello, how's it going, everyone? I just want to make sure you are well aware that if you want to get access to every single thing we ever posted to the Potterless Patreon, you can get that for just $4 a month over at patreon.com/Potterless. That Patreon has been rebranded for my new Percy Jackson podcast, The Newest Olympian, but you can get access to all of the Potterless stuff by joining the I just want the Potterless stuff tier. You scroll back a bunch and boom, you'll get access to everything we ever posted for Potterless. That's 5 years worth of content, including bonus episodes, director's commentary, video content, my notes, a whole bunch of fun stuff. You get access to all of that. You can join for just $4, download, stream, whatever, all the stuff, and then bounce. I don't care. But you can get access to all of that at patreon.com/Potterless. You can also still get some digital merch items at potterlesspodcast.com/merch, including wallpapers, ringtones, old live shows, bunch of fun stuff there. And then if you want to just stay up to date with what I'm doing, you can follow me on social media at Shub17 on Twitter and Instagram. That's SCHUBES17. And if you want to stay up to date with Potterless stuff, if I'm doing live shows or other streams and stuff, we're still posting on social media from time to time at Potterless Podcast on Instagram, at Potterless Pod on Twitter. And if you want to stay up to date with my other podcasts, you can go to my website, which is Schubs, SCHUB.ES. I've got The Newest Olympian, the Percy Jackson podcast. I've got Meddling Adults. We're still making that and making new seasons. Horse is still going strong with my buddy Adam Mamawala. And Modern Muckraker season 1 is still up and it's still really good. So all of that is there. You can learn all about those shows there and you can listen to all those wherever you get your podcasts. Now, at this point, you will hear a couple of ads. Some of them will be read by me. Others of them won't be. The ones that aren't read by me are inserted locally. So if you don't live in an English-speaking country, don't be surprised if you hear an ad in non-English. But once those ads are complete, we'll get into the Q&A for the show. And the Q&A is going to be just the Harry Potter-related questions. There were some Percy Jackson ones and some Harry Potter ones. So I kept in just the ones that were either about Harry Potter or just general questions. If you want to hear all the other questions from the Q&A, you can listen to episode 56 of The Newest Olympian, which was the first act of the show, plus the Percy Jackson relevant questions. So if you want to hear the full thing, check out episode 56 of The Newest Olympian. But we'll take a break for those ads that help me do this as a full-time job, and then we'll get into the Q&A and the conclusion of this episode of Potterless. We've got a whole bunch of questions. I am just going to pick the first one at random. So this question comes from a listener of the show, Kelly Beckman Schubert. The subject line says, live show question from your wife, in all caps. Kelly asks, if you were on Survivor, what would be your favorite challenge to play? I like the ones that are the mix of physical and puzzle and all of that. If it didn't have too much swimming, because I'm solid at swimming, but I wouldn't say it's my strongest suit. But I've always considered myself like the Mario of things, where like all my stats are even and good and stuff, but I'm not like a strong suit in one of them. So I feel like one of the challenges that has you do a lot of different elements, I think I would be good at. Like we were watching one where you had to like swim and get a thing and then basically do like a lawn dart type game. I feel like I could do that sort of thing that has you do a whole lot.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would pick similarly like one of the classic Survivor 3-parters of like physical open something puzzle, but I would actually want the physical part to be something water-based because I feel like that's where I'm the strongest.
You are a very good swimmer. You destroy me anytime we have races, even
like,
though I'm much bigger than you.
The longer the race, the more I destroy you. That's how it goes.
Now, this question comes from Kate N. Hamilton. If you received a wedding invitation from a longtime show fan whose relationship was brought together because of your show, would you attend? I would definitely say my thing. I've been fortunate enough to be invited to some weddings from Potterless-based folks. I will always gladly welcome in the invitations. And if the schedule aligns where it's like I'm in Philadelphia and there's a wedding like either, the same day or whatever, I would gladly like swing by, say hi, and then leave because it's your special day and I don't want to make this about me. But most of the weddings I've been invited to are in very remote locations. Where it's like, oh, we're in like upstate North Dakota. It's like, enjoy your wedding. If it's convenient for me, I'm going to swing by. But like, I can't go out of my way to just, I'm a very busy boy.
Okay, this is a fun one. Sarah says, since you have to start and stop sentences sometimes to get clean podcast audio, do you find yourself doing that in real life? Yes, all the time. Do you notice me doing this? Because it's something I've intentionally done, and I especially do with the live shows because we're recording these, especially for the book, like ones for TNO, like that's going to become a legit episode. Do you notice that I do this in real life? Because I notice I do it sometimes, and it's funny to me.
You don't do it when it's just you and I. You'll do it sometimes when you're in conversation with other people, but not when it's you and I. When it's you and I, you just like stumble through your words. You're just like, yeah, that's a
It's
sentence.
one of those things that's like, it's become a habit that I would rather have that habit than not have it because it makes my work life easier, and that is fine. This is a good thing for crossovers since it's Percy Jackson, Harry Potter. I think it's a good note to end on. Just sorting some different characters from Harry Potter into cabins. Obviously, Fred and George are going to be Hermes because they're all pranks or goofballs. Easy.
Harry will be Zeus because he's main character.
Yeah, right. And he's arrogant for sure.
Hermione would be
Hermione feels Athena.
Yeah.
Very, very wise, very wise.
Voldemort.
I mean, Hades, I guess, but I don't know.
I was thinking like Ares, like he's got like a war,
war. Yeah,
aspect to him, like
yeah.
an evil, like I just want killing for killing's sake aspect to
Yeah,
him.
I like that. I also like that better because Ares is so far my least favorite of the gods, just from like a grumble perspective.
Yeah. Arthur.
He feels
Our
like
winner of
Hephaestus.
Survivor.
I would say our winner. I would say Hephaestus because he likes all the tinkering and all of that.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's very fun, like
That's
all
fun.
the working and all that kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Molly feels very Demeter because providing and cooking and
Yeah.
family and all of
Okay.
that. Alrighty, well, thank you all so much for coming to the show. Give yourselves a round of applause for making it out. For all you watching the stream, round of applause again for you, whether you stayed up late or you watched the replay or wherever it is. Thank you so much. Give it up for Kelly for being an incredible guest. Incredible. Give it up for Joel for helping out, and my mom, Barb, for being in the back and helping out pre-show and everything. And also shout out to all the folks here at City Winery and for making everything happen from sound to hospitality. Everything's been great. Shout out to the folks at Mandolin who made all of the streaming happen. So that's all been very fun. So yeah, and thank you all just so much for coming out and for listening to the show. None of this would be possible without you. So thank you so much. And I realized I didn't do a Priscilla later at the end of Act 1. So we're going to do the rare combo thing where we will close out the show by saying both. So we'll say Wizard on, I'll Priscilla later feels like the normal ending of the two. Yeah,
Sure, that's so normal.
Until I come back to Philly because I was here about a year ago. So let's just make this an annual adventure where I come here for all of you lovely folks and eat cheesesteak and then perform on stage. A great use of a weeknight evening. Until then, Wizard on, I'll pursue you later. Thanks so much for coming out, everybody.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Potterless. Potterless is created by Mike Schubert. It is hosted by Mike Schubert. It is edited by Mike Schubert. It is produced by Mike Schubert. And it was produced by many people who supported on Patreon over the years. I think I've said everything that I really want to say, like in the mid-roll break and in the intro about all the stuff that's going on, but I appreciate you all sticking around and listening. I'm going to be trying to post more stuff to the feed, especially now that a lot of the audio that I'll be using, because I do post these basically chronologically, a lot of the audio to come will be from these half and half shows. So because the audio is shorter, I hopefully can get stuff up more regularly. If you want to see me live in person, aside from that live stream I talked about in the intro, I will be at LeakyCon in July. It is in Portland, Oregon. It is July 5th, 6th, and 7th, and I will be doing stuff all 3 days. I don't know exactly what I'm doing quite yet. They have not gotten back to me about the programming particulars quite yet, but I'm assuming I'll do a Potterless Live at some point, some other fun stuff. I think if you use the promo code Potterless, you might get 10% off, but I'm not positive. But you can see me at LeakyCon. I'll be doing Harry Potter stuff. I'll be doing Percy Jackson stuff. I'll probably do karaoke. I'll be doing silly things. So that will be a fun time. And I really do appreciate you all listening. I'm going to try to also get some video stuff like vlog footage because I take videos while I'm on tour. I have so much tour footage to still put up on the Potterless YouTube, so you can head on over to the Potterless YouTube account to see what I've already put up, and I will hopefully be putting up more stuff soon. But thank you all for listening. I really do appreciate it. Please stay subscribed because I will continue to post things. And until I post another thing, as they say in the wizarding world of Harry Potter, Wizard on!